Payer center questions. Whose favorite? Finance, right? As researchers, you're like, to talk about the finance piece of it, but you have to figure out how you're going to get paid. Here, the unmet need for payers can be slightly different. The current therapies that they have available today, are they really expensive? Their unmet need is reducing the cost of treatment for the patient. The current standard of care for treating that patient type, does that give them 20 years of good, healthy life after diagnosis? Or are they in and out in the hospital for the rest of their lives? What's their treatment pathway look like? And how, as a payer, do I have to look at someone and say, well, now that I know they have this condition, it's going to cost this and this and this and this. If I can reduce the cost of that for the rest of their lives, that's going to make a difference for me. Their unmet needs. Feeds to the next point of like where you're planning to launch. A lot of people look at the US first, and so you have to think of CMS, which should really be CMMS, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which is listed in your resources. Are they going to pay for this product? Once the patient, what age are your patients essentially, and when does that payment start? Or what considerations do the private insurance companies have for the expenses of that patient? In other countries, there are other dynamics with regard to payment. So is there a national payment system? Do you have to basically get approved for in their national for national coverage? Like in China, for example, there's tiers of hospitals that people go to and tiers of different types of insurance. And for the world I know of, medical device, the patients will actually pick the product and pay for it out of their pocket. So they're given sort of an option list of which products that they want for spine surgery in particular. And do you want the premium one? Can you afford that? Or is the sort of bread and butter basic system, they'll all work, but you get to pick which one based on how much you can pay for it. So the where do you plan to launch question pushes you into a whole another set of discussions around what's the situation analysis, what's the payer landscape like in that country, and then reflect all of the other questions that we've already been talking about, reflect that on that marketplace. So for drugs, there's something called J codes, which you have to get J codes for some products for FDA approval or for payment. Being on formulary is when the insurance company puts you on its approved list, essentially. So if you're not on formulary, you're less likely to get used. I had to look this up because I forgot what the acronyms were, but Healthcare Common Procedure Coding System, called HCPCS, which is a system that they use to help define different procedures. And so each procedure has a CPT code, which is a current procedural terminology. It's a CPT code, that's just what I know. And those, like digging into each of these different kinds of areas will help you know what exists today, what can be paid for today. So you have to look at what coding is available.